Well, let's see. Ah, okay. Boy, I saved in an odd place last night. Hmm. Well, hello. I didn't notice you were there. Um, yeah, I get my butt in the chair and here we go. Um, I figure you or whomever will come along. And yes, I changed up with what I was playing since we're going to be involved in a lot of Sapiens, and this is a game that I've had going on for a long time and wanted to finish. All right, I don't need any of that. And good morning, by the way. Boy, I put down tier 3 miners last night in the super alloy cave, and wow, hadn't been playing all that long, but there sure is a bunch of it. Now, let me see. I'm at 202, and that comes on at 250. I was going to ask you if you were going to make coffee, and you obviously are. No, I don't need that. I need that. Can I build? Ooh, all the rest of that's easy. That bioplastic nugget, I got to get to. Hmm. My mic is a bit quiet. Ooh, that could be. Well, it could just be the way I'm talking, truth be known. Test, test, test. Hmm. That's all right. No problem. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find something that will. I turned it up a little bit, but we'll see if I get to walking. Hmm. And I sometimes need to remind myself to talk louder because I don't. And I don't know why. My wife's all the way across the house along with the dog. There's what I'm looking for. Mm, I'm going to have to. Yep, I sure am. Hmm. Now, if I'm making all the rest of that isn't hard, and I've got it, but I need, oop, now I'm going to need mushrooms. I got water somewhat nearby. And I've got enough mushrooms to choke a horse. Let's do that. Was that that? Yes, it was. You're back. Woohoo! Something's happening outside. Emerald storm. Most likely super alloy. I've got so much I don't know what to do with it all. Sometimes you just gotta be happy about it. I need to change all of these lockers to chains. Kind of like this. Can you hear me now? Or is it better? I guess I should ask. Hmm. If I put a locker right there, there won't be enough of a hallway to get around. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Or they did have very slightly better, but I can't hear you during all the meteor storms. Well, okay, that I know how to fix. Any better now? Because I did turn down the audio of the game a bit. Hmm. Shaman, I also have something I want to talk to you about, but I'm not going to bring up during the game because it's nobody else's business. I'll put my question in Discord, and I'm telling you so you won't forget to go check. Let's get those out of there. I don't want to be shuffling. Ooh. Still hard to hear you, but let's carry on. No, that's what we need to do what we need to do. I haven't put it in there yet, so don't check too quick. That is a pulsar quartz meteor. First time I've ever done that. I took something out and it, oh, can't get that one yet. Hey. What was I doing besides going crazy? And yes, I know you can't go someplace you're already at. Being as I know that I have about 1,000,000 mushrooms in here, set that to supply. Then growth 55%, growth 60%, growth 82%. And I know you shouldn't have to set these, but might turn out to be better if I do. All the rest of those are eggplant. They can sit if they want. I've got enough tree bark to absolutely choke a horse, which is probably not nice to the horse. And I might be, yep, totally out of zeolite. I don't know that I have. Let's fly over to the zeolite cave and see if we can plonk one of these down after I get a drink of something. By the way, thank you for being here. I know it's early for you. And by the way, I'm sorry that we're starting kind of in the middle of a game, but this is one of my goals that I was trying to accomplish, is getting this game done because I've gotten two other games I started a long time ago done. Well, I understand about sleep being disrupted. There's hardly a night that I sleep much past 5, and that's on a good day. If I sleep to 5, I'm done. No, my game plan is to keep from waking the dog up. Is if I wake up, if I lay in bed, it just wrecks my back. I just you know, can't deal with laying in bed, any more than I have to. And so I usually get up and go to the living room because um, my wife bought me a recliner with heat in it. And I can see we're going to have to up the priority of what these are doing and send them to the shredder. All right. I just had a thought. Hmm. Let me put this shredder. Oh, super alloy. demand, bees, honey, that. And that way, when it starts taking stuff in before it gets full, yep, that'll reach that far. If it can use it, it will. And I need to go supply that and build it a locker. I'm glad you don't mind what stage we're in. Now that I'm involved with streaming communities from 6 to 10 p.m., I'm not getting dinner till very late and bed even later. Going to seriously evaluate my hours this week because this isn't sustainable. Yeah, no doubt. Um, and if you have to, not, uh, come and watch my stuff, I'm okay. It'll pick up at some point in time. What are you watching from 6 to 10, if I may ask? Hmm. I keep thinking that thing needs circuit boards, and it doesn't. Hasn't needed them yet. Somebody built a window in there. Oh, you gotta have an aluminum. Oh, and I get those mixed up all the time. And I really did need that. And I'm not sure I explained because I figured you would know this is an intense game. And what I mean by that is everything else is standard, but that's intense because I watched TechRack Gaming play hardcore of this, and I tried hardcore and it kicked my ever-loving booty. Uh, Several Gutter Gang members and I follow a TikTok radio show called 1980 Something Live, which is now an after-party show. The DJ is one of Digger's best friends and fellow stuntman. Ah, okay, I see. I don't TikTok um, due to their association with, China or whatever it is. Um, anything that I know that could possibly be streaming data back to, China, North Korea, Russia, anything, I don't mess with it. I have, the controllable plugins in my house that I have unplugged and set on the shelf that my daughter gave me because most likely it's phoning home. I do have two cameras attached to my house as security cameras that they're probably phoning home themselves. I don't like it. I could actually block it if I wanted to dig into it bad enough, but I'm just not very trusting of TikTok. Now, having said all that, I did download the TikTok app when it looked like they were going to make it to where it couldn't be downloaded. And so I said, you never can tell. You might want this at some point in time. I have a copy of it. And if I decided to update it, that would be fine. I'm not signed into it, don't open it, uh, so on and so forth. But I understand that that is supply that. Did I already fill up the whole? No. A lot of that's been debunked, but I hear you. The show used to be on YouTube, but yeah, I knew what was going on surrounding him. I had heard about the channel before, I think from you and maybe a few others. And I understand that a lot of that's been debunked. The network security person in me says until I go and look at Wireshark and what's going where, when you've got TikTok engaged, rather safe than sorry. I'll, you know, stay out of it. I did watch one of his shows while he was still on YouTube, and yeah, I understand. It's weird since my hearing has went not good. Music sounds like crap to me. All music. I still listen to, you know, a classic rock, but it's it's not enjoyable, if that makes any sense. Um, you know, and what can I say? I worked as a mechanic for all those years and uh, was around high performance jets. My shop used to be parked right outside. The jets used to be parked right outside where the shop I was at in for 12 years was at. You could walk outside the door and see, good grief, is that, I want to say 23 jets per squadron, and there were three squadrons, 24, 23, stick in my head. So, even with hearing aids, music doesn't sound good to me. And the hearing aids are working out. The left one is a little bit tinny. It has a little too much treble in it. I've got to make an appointment to get it changed, but I just haven't got that direction yet. Let me take that back and grab that. Yeah, I get it, and more power to you. Um, there's people walking the face of the earth that deserve our support, and he sounds like a rather good guy. That's going to be, I do not have an aluminum set up in one of the new ones. Nope, sure don't. Gosh, I need to build tier 3 drills everywhere. Mm. don't have enough to do two, but mm, oh, this is what you're, and you still can't do it without aluminum, no matter how much you try. Where did I put the aluminum at? Right there, because I'm a stoop. Well, no, I've already tried music since. And even with hearing aids in, music doesn't sound good to me anymore. Um, I have not read any books by David Byrne. Um, I can honestly say, as I've gotten older and my eyesight's gotten worse, I just don't read a whole heck of a lot. Um, if I sit down and read something, it's usually because I'm trying to figure something out. And it's weird. I used to be a very big reader, and in the military, heck, I constantly had a book in my hand. Reading during the Gulf War kept me sane because it was bad news bears. I mean, and I can say that I'm not heavily into science fiction. And, nothing against anybody that is, but I can't say that I'm terribly well read. And I really don't know how I got out of that. Right now, it's a problem of that I've developed floaters in both eyes, and I really can't see good enough the way they print most books to even consider sitting and reading for a long time. Hey, fish eggs. Hmm. I need to move that back over here. Okay, I can drop that up. You pain in the butt. Stop. Stop. wrote an amazing nonfiction book back in the 80s called Transparent Society, where he discussed the future of technology and computer tracking of people long before current issues. Yes, some people have that vision. Hmm. Yeah, it's a shame that, to me, that advertisers have decided that it's better for, to track people and what they're doing, and ads have become so prevalent in our society that it's a it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. I bet you that I don't have water, 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 water. That should. Yeah, it's got. Okay, what in the heck is the. There's only one there. Hmm. Might be time to put a mushroom farm down here. Bee larva fertilizer super alloy in a water bottle. Oh, hmm. Excuse me. And I would say your friend is probably right because I've seen stuff being in IT used to look at things that were being tracked over the firewall, and I knew other IT guys didn't have a clue as to what in the world was going on. If this storm will ever get over, I'll make the point I was trying to make. One morning I walked into work and my boss used to share the antivirus report with me and what computers were, infected or had tried to be infected. And the gentleman I worked with walked up to me and he said, "Why don't you and Garrett ever share that report with me?" And I said, "Mitch," picked it up off my desk, handed it to him, and said, um, "You know, if you want to look at it, you can look at it." The computer right on top of the page, very first entry was his, and that it had been tried to be infected by a virus and might still have the virus. And he flipped out, went about nuts. And I looked at him and I said, Mitch, you're a very emotional guy. I said, and that's why we don't show you this report. Because if you looked at it, verbatim every morning, you'd drive yourself nuts. And he said, oh, okay, I understand. And never said another word about it. But he was totally just oblivious to the fact of what could be attacking us. And I mean, I looked at this guy one day. He was a Windows user, if you catch my drift. That if it wasn't Windows, it was outside of his realm of purveyance. And there is a heck of a lot of things going on in the background of the internet that have not one thing to do with Windows. They're Linux based. At the time, it was something like 56% of all the computers on the internet and servers and such on the internet were Linux based. And he said, oh, that's crap. No, it's really not. Because when Windows 2000 came out, Microsoft tried to set their website up on Windows 2000 and it wouldn't hold up. They had to take it down and go back to a Linux-based website. Not a lot of people know that, but it just and is there monitoring capabilities ahead of what the public imagines? Oh, heck yes. I have no doubt in my mind. If they knew, it would not be pretty. All right. Yeah, drives me nuts that there's a rock out here over 6 or 7 pulsar quartz. Makes me very angry. And yes, I just used my Marvin Martian voice. Come on, Rock. You got to get off of there. You're cutting into my time here, jerk. Yes. Okay, do you have your phone with you? Okay, be careful. If you need to bring a bed in here for him, hold on, my wife's going out for a walk and I've got to do something for the little dog. Randy, the person that I'm sitting here talking to's name is Shaman. She said to tell you hello. Shaman. Okay, come on, Taz. Come on, Taz. Come on, lay down. Lay down. You're a good boy. Yep. We got so many attacks on library and city daily, government contracts to lowest bidders. Luckily, our system was not one of those. Yeah, no doubt. I saw things the average, user didn't see, because of what I did and how I did it, and it worked out in its own strange way. I have no formal training in firewalls and such, but, you know, okay, what was I doing? I'm trying to get that going. I need a couple of bee larvae, and I don't think I've got any. Not in there. There's rare larvae. And I understand that. I wondered about it, but it's none of my business. Therefore, try to accept things for face value. You do for you because you do for you. And I know I'm going to need fertilizer if I'm going to have bee larvae. Oh, I've got mutagen around here somewhere. That's algae. That's that mutagen. Oop, that's turned into explosive powder. If I could build two of those, I'd probably be pretty darn happy. I know you said you were a competitive tennis player at some point in time. That must have been hard to give up because I know just walking that all the time that if I don't walk, it drives me just a bit around the bend. I mean, I've got a hip that's acting up on me right now, and it's the one I injured so many years ago. But I can do two more of those. Let me go get everything else I need for this little endeavor. I need one more tier 1 fertilizer. And it's lucky I have it. And I know you say that that's one of the names you write under. Have you wrote anything noteworthy under that name? Hmm. Water, 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 water. Now I need seeds aren't there, seeds aren't there. I know where they're at. one thing I don't like about these outdoor farms. If you don't get all of my books and stories were trapped in the computer that broke. Oh my, that's not good. Now let me see if I can get some of this crap off of my screen. Well, we're coming along with that. And I am out of water. That is not a good thing. Hmm. I may have some older versions on the laptop. I just dug out of storage. I'm hoping to have a look this week. I hope it works out for you. I really do. Well, while I was back there getting stuff, should have had some. Oh, and here comes another storm. Well, I wish you the best in that endeavor. I don't know, at one point in time I wanted to write and did a little writing on my Facebook page in my notes that I actually wrote, oh, good grief, over from 2009 to 2015. Oh, are you muted? I realize you said never mind, but I had messed with some of the settings. I was trying to make it to where that big blast coming out of the sky wasn't as bad. Oh, what a bunch of Bologna. No, I did some writing, on my own. Oddly enough, called it the Daily Yak. Um, After my dad died, it took the wind pretty much out of my sails. I find that I have to have a certain amount of mental battery to write, and it just him dying. I worship the ground my dad walked on, even when he was drinking, and um, it's just one of those things. I can still write every now and then, depends upon what it's about. Before I was writing about day-to-day stuff, things I saw, things that happened at work, the dogs, marriage, uh, stupid stuff. And I just, like I said, my dad dying took it out of me. I have never really picked it back up. And I had somebody ask me, say, your stories are wonderful. Um, and I wish you'd start writing again. And I said, well, I'll try. I opened up a Threads account that isn't about dogs, that is more adult based. I have a Instagram account. It's at the Nut House 2000, um, and it's the at symbol. And I know you know. I'll shut up. Uh, and the more adult side of it is News from the Nut House 2000. They're both under my name. I use my real name all the time, um, because for as much as I won't tell you where I live right out loud, I am who I am. And uh, it is what it is. And I, let that go as I see fit. And, it's not that I won't tell you where I live. If we were having a discussion, me and you, and I know that there could possibly be thousands of people listening to this at some point in time, I would tell you where I live. Wouldn't bother me. But knowing that this is being broadcast and could be, anybody could see it, hear it, pick it up, I won't say a word about it. I'll tell you where I lived in the past. I won't tell you where I'm living right now. Um, if somebody wants to know bad enough, they can figure it out, and it's not hard to figure out. But I'm not going to just spoon feed them, where I'm at, what I'm doing, how I feel about things. Uh, there's a bunch of nuts walking the face of the earth, and um, hey, I probably need to go make some more. I think I could do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Graduate degrees in writing. How about writing about your bad, even if it's just a memory for your family? Those would be treasures. Did it. Did it. I should probably, one in particular is that I wrote about the funny things that my dad said right after he died. The things I learned from my dad. Um, One instance in particular, my dad smoked. I don't ever remember a time that my dad didn't smoke before my 17th birthday. My dad smoked. It's what eventually killed him. And we were driving down the road one day, and we got in behind. Well, he was walking through the house one day, coughing his brains out, and he had a Tupperware tumbler in his hand, and in one hand, a cigarette in the other. And I said, you know, that'll kill you. And he held up the tumbler and said, um, what, this? And that was just my dad. Uh, I was riding with my dad in a car, 17 years old. We got behind a poultry truck, big tractor trailer full of chickens, Fifth Avenue in Knoxville. And all of a sudden, I looked up at that truck and I said, man, that's a foul job. And my dad just groaned. And I went, what? I didn't get it as a 17-year-old. It didn't register with me what had just rolled out of my mouth. But then, uh, I get it now. And it's like, I was a brain dead, mindless teenager. And yeah, I messed up. Hope, hope that I did that the right way. Because if I didn't, it's not the worst thing in the world. 15 drones and all of them were, yeah, I could do that again and probably need to. Oh, come on. I need a drink. Let's get a drink. I don't know that I have the voice to do anything. Yeah, it's there goes my stalking plan. What a load of crap. Uh, you have a good story. My voice is gravelly now, whereas before it wasn't, and I don't know why that is. My the best comedy gold is unintentional, and you're 100% right about that. Um, yeah, my dad was, uh, to be raised in the South. He told us if we ever called African Americans at the time the term was blacks, if we ever called them the N word, and my brother, who was older by 3.5 years, he was probably one of the most prejudicial people I've ever met in my life. And I don't know why, because we weren't raised like that. And me, it stuck. I'm, I think I'm rather confusing and disjointed as far as, you know, the way I tell stories. I think it's kind of a circular path sometimes, and I'm not good at keeping things straight in my head, and it's worse now that I'm older. All right, I don't know what's falling and where, but it is. No, for some reason that's been the place. Gosh, everything's falling. That's osmium and sulfur. And there it is. You know, I think I'm a little bit disjointed and would be hard to understand. But here I am doing this, and something to do, something to take my time up. Uh, Idle hands for me are a bad thing, and eh, it is what it is. Oh, you've got to go back there and unclick that, or you'll have it running around on your screen. One thing I don't like about this game is that if you pin something, you have to go back to wherever you pinned it and then unclick it. If you pinned it there, you got to unpin it there. And, that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes good storytelling is you don't just lead the listeners right to the point. You let the story unfold. And maybe I have problems seeing that. You know, what I see as dysfunction is actually, I don't know. Can't say is I've ever thought about it. You know, and I agree with you. A good storyteller is, you know, um, somebody that can keep their audience enthralled is a good thing. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence in myself. And the funny part of it is, I actually had a 4 year stretch that I taught in the military. I stood up in front of people every day and gabbed my, self to death. I used to say, told a class one time that in the Air Force, if you're a, master at something, you're a 7 level, a 9 level, you know, your career has taken you to a point that you, or it used to be this way, that you are, know your ass from hole in the ground. You usually get a badge that hangs off your pocket, or if you're in fatigue, you sew it onto your pocket. I used to tell people when I was teaching that I had a Master Bullshitters badge because it's a license to get up and tap dance. Uh, Largest class I ever taught was 35 or 40 people, and um, you've basically got to entertain those folks, whether you like it or not. It is what it is, and I found that I really thrived in that environment, to a certain extent. For as much as I'm pretty introverted some days, I'm also an extrovert. If you catch me at the right time, I'll talk your ear off. This, for instance, that you know, it was it was a fun time. It was a very fun time. I mean, I taught, and oh, really, it is a weird game to shoot a pin and unpin like that. I wish they would let you click on where you've pinned it and right click or unpin or something because it's a pain in the ass. However, that's neither here nor there. Um, you know, I enjoyed teaching. It was absolute, just a gob of fun. Teaching is what got me into computers because I knew more about computers than anybody else in the place. So they made me the computer guy over the whole branch. I had, good grief, 100 computers. I can't tell you how many officers I've walked in on. This was during Windows 3.1 days that they'd be sitting there playing solitaire. We were converting over to Windows 95. I can't tell you how many times I walked in on officers that were twiddling their thumbs because it was driving them nuts. That, you know, um, maintenance officers were, uh, Taz, are you okay? Okay, just checking on you. Yeah, maintenance officers were, it was an odd job because you weren't going out there and wrenching on anything, but you were over people that were, and if you were going to be effective, you had to have some idea about what they were doing. I saw some really good maintenance officers, uh, that knew their backside from hole in the ground, and I saw a lot that uh, didn't. I think one of the best bosses I had, maintenance officer wise, was the fact that I had a maintenance officer um, that he was trying to be a pilot and they didn't have any billets for pilots, so they made him a maintenance officer while they were waiting on his billet to open. And that guy was an academy grad and probably one of the best officers I've ever seen in my life as a lieutenant. And it was, definitely different. Good teachers are indeed good storytellers. To keep a group of people entertained enough to absorb information is a skill. You're not lying. And I actually had a guy I was teaching. It, it wasn't my piece of equipment, but it was considered to be enough like what I taught that I got to teach it. It didn't bother me. It wasn't something I had ever messed with. Um, Matter of fact, it was a nitrogen cart, and that was something I got to deliver to planes, but never worked on. I mean, when it came time to the nuts and bolts of that thing, we took it to someplace else. And I had one of their guys sit on one of my classes explaining that thing, and he walked away from it. And before he got back in his truck, he said, "That's the best explanation I've ever heard." You know, and it was very rewarding. The bad part about it was I was trying to stay in that job, and when I tried to stay in it, they kept saying, you don't have a position there. You don't have a position there." I was filling that position. What they had done is they had taken somebody from my career field and filled a position for some other person, and they never actually went out to get somebody to do what I was doing. So once I stopped doing what I was doing, it all dried up. And that was kind of a shame because I really, enjoyed what I was doing. Yeah, after I got through teaching, that was what got me into computers because um, I was doing all the computer stuff, and they said you can either go back on the flight line doing what I was trained to do, or you can go work in a small computer office, and that decision was easy. Uh, I was looking to get out um, at that point in time. Crush, kill, destroy. It's your mom. Okay, we're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes, and I've got stuff I need to do and little dogs. Yeah, yeah, it was a shame. For as much as I enjoyed teaching, I was always going to do something with computers. I used to drive the people in Knoxville's Radio Shacks nuts because I'd walk into a Radio Shack and sit and program on their display computers, and they kept trying to get me to go someplace else. And no, I wasn't muted. I muted the desktop audio so the storms wouldn't be quite so loud. I think he wants to come out with you, baby. Um, but yeah, um, no, that was me. I was trying to keep it from being so loud. However, I am going to stop right here due to the fact that it is what it is, um, and go on about my business. I've got some other things I need to accomplish before 10 o'clock. But I appreciate you coming, and thank you very much. And, I will leave you that message in Discord. Don't forget to check it. It's going to take me a few moments, though, to get it straightened out. And I'm not going to leave until you acknowledge that you've heard what I said. And I know you're typing as fast as you can. All right. No, you don't be sorry that you were so chatty. Had a good time. It's not a problem. That's why we're here. All right. I'm gone. See ya. Bye bye.